I don't know how many years on this earth I got left. I'm gonna get real weird with it.
Hello my darlings, and welcome to Get Real Weird With It, where I read weird, alternative, bizarro, or just less mainstream books. So without much further ado, let's get into the books I read for this vlog. The first book I read was A Tree, a reader on arboreal kinship, edited by Marjolaine Vanderloo, and it's by Onomatopoeia258. It is printed on red paper. It is a mixed media format, so there are lots of images and artwork and poetry and just a whole anthology. It is a sprawling anthology that invites readers to reroute their thinking. It's not a single narrative, but a canopy of perspectives on trees as sentient teachers, timekeepers, and radical co-conspirators in the unmaking of anthropocentrism. It is a collection of essays, poems, artworks, and meditations that branch together into a kind of forest of thought, dense, diverse, and humming with life. Sometimes it feels like you've wandered into a lecture run by Ents and eco-queer poets. It's kind of like a tree hug. It's not about learning about trees as much as it is about learning from them, about patience, connection, and existing in non-human rhythms. It's a poetic exploration of how trees can teach us to live, think, and dream beyond human time and capitalist logic. The next book I picked up was The Nothing That Is by Kyle Winkler. So the main character is Cade, and Cade is an everyman, and he is an assistant manager at a catering business. His boss and his wife are embezzling, so he decides to set up a side hustle before things go south. It is then that he meets Mr. Dinosaur, a man with certain culinary tastes who wants to eat really weird shit, but will pay Cade quite well to feed it to him. Then all of a sudden, cemeteries go boom, the corpses disappear into thin air, occultist bikie gangs show up, and Cade is caught in something that is consuming him whole. This is a blue-collar descent into cosmic horror, where catering gigs and cult activities are both as likely to kill you. There's deadpan absurdity and Lovecraftian nausea. This is the kind of weird-ass book that makes absolutely no sense to me. I just find it really confusing. This is the second book of Kyle Winkler's that I have read. The other one was, I think it was Grass Hands, and it was the same experience. I just don't understand what is happening and why. And for some reason, they give me a kind of headache when I read them. The next book I picked up is The Hanged Man by Francesca Leah Block. And this is about a sad girl who takes a detour of grief and lust in Los Angeles. It's like reading a dream you half remember from a fever. It is lush, haunting, and kind of sticky. The main character, Laurel's world, is full of ghosts. Her father's death, her mother's distance, and her own messy awakenings. The prose has the classic Block mix of almost stream of consciousness poetry and pain. This is like Weetsy Bat after they've had a goth phase and a semester of therapy that she didn't finish. It's short, but it felt like quite a dense coming of age story. That's a trauma diary and a hallucinatory love letter to LA. I love that the chapters were titled after tarot cards, so tarot cards do play a part in this book. I did feel a bit like it romanticizes tragedy, and it was rife with eating disorders, drugs, and incest. The last book I read was 17 Names for Skin by Roland Blackburn. In this book, a girl tries to kill herself with capitalism, i.e. she takes out life insurance and then hires a hitman. But instead, she ends up with a subscription box for eldritch mutations. Now she's the world's most anxious shapeshifter who's trying not to eat her friends or her feelings. Her name is Snow, and she is a pierced up introvert with terminal cancer and a very dry sense of humor. And she decides to, try to solve her problems the old-fashioned way with crime and bureaucracy so that she can help her sick and ailing father with her death. But instead of dying, she wakes up cursed. Her body is shifting, splitting, and consuming like an overactive sourdough starter. The prose has a lot of nihilism and black humor, but underneath the gore, there is a heart. It is a story about grief, identity, and the terror of being trapped inside something you no longer recognize as you. It's gross, it's sad, it's weirdly tender. It's Tumblr-core body horror for emotionally repressed weirdos. A gory, strange meditation on bodily autonomy, mortality, and self-destruction with lots of queerness and adorable mutant support animals. I didn't love the writing style or the way the story was structured at some points. I just felt a bit whiplashed with what was going on and found it hard to get my bearings. But it was really interesting and it was memorable. This is one of those books that I think I will probably keep in my long-term memory. And it was kind of fun to see what her and her doggy would end up shape-shifting into. Those were all the books for this reading vlog. Let me sum them up for you. So we had The Nothing That Is by Kyle Winkler, a surreal horror comedy, a surreal horror comedy about catering, cults, and cosmic chaos. I said that so weirdly. The Hanged Man by Francesca Leah Block, a dark poetic exploration of grief, sexuality, and self-destruction dressed in surreal LA sunlight. A Tree, a reader on arboreal kinship by Marjolaine Vanderloo, a cross-species book club where trees are the philosophers, humans are the students, and time itself moves in rings instead of hours, and 17 Names for Skin by Ronald Blackburn. A dying woman becomes a flesh-eating cryptid and learns self-acceptance the hard, chewy way. And the perfume for today's vlog is Love-O-Matic by Room 1015. It has strawberry, blackcurrant, lemon, ozonic notes, bubblegum, musk, ambret, and cedar. This is olfactory pop art. It's playful, polished, and just a bit perverse. It's not a love potion exactly. More like the smell of getting ready for a date you already know will be terrible, but thrilling. To me, this smells like Chloe Sevigny in the 90s. It's giving 90s it girl. And the book that I'm pairing with it is Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason. The narrator, Martha, is dry and devastating, navigating the mess of mental illness, love, and family dysfunction with barbed elegance. It's bubblegum, sad girl literature. So today, for the activity, I'm heading to an event at Law Perfumery. Today's event is the launch of Heretic Parfum's new fragrance for Halloween, HAXAN. So I'm getting to sniff it before it's publicly released, and I think there's some drinks. I don't know. I'll just take some video.
I'm going to have to pop a bottle, it's going to be scary. No matter how many times I do it, I think I always scare someone, so I have to say it like really loudly so everyone's crazy. Right. Piper, can you be in charge of that? Thank you. Also inspired by a film, a 1922 Swedish film called HAXAN as well. And I did a bit of research into this film, and it's super interesting because it's kind of both artistic and trippy. But also it's kind of like a sociological and historical study at the same time. So basically, the essence of the film is that it covers the entire history of witchcraft and paganism, starting at the Middle Ages, so not entire history. But it kind of takes you through all of the different rituals that you would see, why these things came about. So it touches on like how witch hunts may have just been people misinterpreting mental illness as like witchcraft and stuff like that, which is like pretty progressive for the 20s, I think. But then the director also includes like these dream-like sequences of like people in masks dancing around. It's actually beautiful, and I recommend that you watch it. And of course, it was beautiful, it was historically accurate, and it was anti-clerical, so it was banned in a lot of places at different times too. But yeah, it's a pretty nuts film. It's kind of like, if you've seen any, oh my gosh, what are those? It's a genre of Italian horror film from the 70s. Giallo, thank you. It's kind of like a precursor to a Giallo film. It has that kind of like circusy, kind of unhinged vibe to it that's really cool. Anyway, Douglas is obsessed with the film, and he wanted to try and capture it in fragrance. And like all of his fragrances, he wants to be very mindful about the ingredients that he chooses. He doesn't want to just like slap together a fragrance and go, oh, that's witchy. He chooses everything very intentionally. So here, the most prominent note that you're going to pick up is amber. And that is because it's been used in lots of different spiritual practices for years and years and years. But also because of its ability to kind of freeze a moment in time, which I think is really cool. Then he's also picked osmanthus, because osmanthus is kind of a contradictory ingredient. It's got fruity facets, but it's also got leathery facets. And then you've got rose for its velvety kind of richness that's connected both to sensuality, but also to scripture and religion. And then incense, because obviously it's mystical, it's magical. It is the thing that connects altar and pyre. It kind of encapsulates everything that Douglas loves. So now without further ado, let's smell it.
So I thought I'd quickly show you before the light sets what's in here. Oh, okay, interesting selection. So we've got Angel's Trumpet, Cœur Noir, which I actually did want to try, Black Heart, HAXAN, which is just tonight, Dragon's Blood. Okay, yes, I did want to try that too. There's Midnight Toka, which I already know isn't for me. It's a cannabis one. And Dirty Rose, which I haven't tried. Awesome, I've tried Angel's Trumpet and Midnight Toka, but I haven't tried these, so this is exciting. I also did want to try their Bloodberry. It smelt like an edgy Turkish Delight, and Scandalwood, which is their collab with Dita Von Teese, smelt gorgeous. But I'm very happy to try these out. Like I said, I'm going to be moving my perfume reviews over to my other channels, monthly wrap up. They also, some perfume houses I've noticed started doing this, where they're now writing sort of little stories about the scents. So I love that, you know, combining two of my favorite things, stories and scents. So I love that the perfume houses are starting to beef up their descriptions of the scent. But until next time, stay weird, Star Child.
We are the weirdos, mister.